back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep. And as promised, I'll be talking about Zenon's devil using the Kabbalah and cult books that Tabata used to create Black Clover. And I know that sounds scary, but trust me, I got this.
Oh, scary! Oh, shiver my timbers!
Now, in return of my sacrifice, please smash the like button and hit the notification bell because I deserve it, frankly.
Are you sure about that?
But let me begin with explaining chapter 307, since Zenon makes a deal with Beelzebub and unlocks another transformation. Nani?
Another one, and another one.
The chapter begins with Zenon telling his devil Beelzebub to grant him the heart of a devil, similar to how Asta asked Liber to take over his body to save Yami. We obviously know it is because of the memory he had with his old friend Alan, which drove Zenon to want to sacrifice everything he had to attain power. If you want to learn the parallels between Yuno and Zenon, Alan with Asta, you're probably wondering why do these characters look exactly like Asta and Yuno. Please watch our video from last week because that way we will all be on the same page as a community. And no! Alan is not Asta's father. How come when a character with white hair appears in this manga or looks a tiny bit like Asta, everyone tries to ship them as the father, like, you are the father! Like this is fucking Jerry Springer or something.
You are the father.
Anyone that claims that this is possible doesn't understand the storytelling of Black Clover at all. The ages don't even match, fam. It's basic maths.
You idiot. You're honestly an idiot.
Anyways, Beelzebub asks Zenon what he is willing to offer up in exchange for more power by attaining a devil's heart. And Zenon answers, my everything.
God damn!
Zenon explains their contract, which is as long as the Spade Kingdom survives, his soul will belong to him. Zenon's heart has long died after losing his best friend in the past, where he comes to the conclusion that power meant everything, which of course is a flawed ideology since he's giving his soul to the very evil race that caused that outcome, and they don't care about his feelings. The devil is literally laughing at his despair, going
What the hell was that?
As Zenon puts it in chapter 306, human emotion is meaningless in front of absolute power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Having power corrupts a man or lessens his morality. And the more power a man has going down this dark path, the more corrupted he will become. We obviously believe that Zenon's brother is the cause of Alan's death in chapter 306, as Alan was the rock and person that guided Zenon to the light with a good path. Taking that away pushed Zenon into becoming evil. Zenon's brother would have planted that demon in the dungeon to make them all die, and he knew Zenon would survive by sacrificing them since he was the most powerful. Zenon's brother from a young age knew that he had the most potential to assimilate with a devil, so he would want that to happen. Zenon's older brother completes the tetrad of the dark triad personality traits the characters are based on. He represents sadism. Now shout out to these guys sharing their mana with our community using balls deep prediction magic powers. This is why it's so important to hit the notification bell because this makes it much more fun to cover this manga.
So true.
Sadism is the addition to the dark triad of personality traits, which has narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. This means a person possesses the characteristics of all of these personalities. Sadism is a person who takes pleasure in inflicting pain, punishment, or humiliation on others, which would perfectly connect with the storytelling of Black Clover. And I'm not done there. I love this community. You guys support my videos, so I'm gonna help you. I want to give another shout out to my boy Asaya. Asaya does some great analysis in our comments in regards to the dark triad and why they turned out evil to match these personality traits. For example, if we look at the backstory of Zenon, they bullied Zenon for having bone magic, so imagine how they treated Varnica and even worse, Dante. Varnica's blood magic would have been seen as disgusting to the point where she would have been alone and lacking friends, which would then explain her infatuation with becoming friends with Lord of Pacheca and Noel. That makes a lot of sense. Similarly, Dante already stated how much he hates his body magic, so maybe being bullied for it as a kid resulted in him becoming a narcissist to make up for his lack of confidence. Another thing worth noting is how the fourth sibling probably has the time devil, which is one of the three kings of of hell, which explains why Varnica didn't have it since she's less talented. And oh my god, what a great analysis, guys. This is what it means to be part of a community. Shout out to Asaya, man. Give him a round of applause right now, guys. Clap your hand emoji in the comments right now to give Asaya. We need to give the recognition to the people that helped me make these videos. Do you understand what I'm saying? I love you guys, man. Thank you. Moving back to the chapter, Beelzebub accepts the offer. We then get one last flashback shot of Alan before Zenon opens his eye, signifying that the transformation has begun. This tells us that Alan and the trauma over what happened to him is the only thing pushing Zenon to do everything he's done. As we know, he wasn't always this kind of person that would commit such atrocities. He initially wanted to protect the Spade Kingdom, and some of that is still there. As we see him say multiple times, all of this is for the benefit of the Spade Kingdom, and even his deal with the devil is to protect the Spade Nation rather than selfish ideals and selfish reasons. We then see his heart, now officially the exact same as a devil's. When this proceeds, instantly the change begins spreading around the rest of his body, proving that what truly makes a devil is its heart. Remember when Asta wanted to make a deal with Liber to save Yami? He said his body couldn't handle it because he's too weak. However, in Zenon's backstory, it is stated he is like Yuno, gifted from the very beginning and very powerful. He's blessed with a good connection to devil powers, as his brother said, so he could offer up his whole body instantly. We then see in the next page, oh my god, Zenon is basically a full-blown devil now, and this man, I'm just gonna say this right now, this man looking kinda scary.
Scary. Shiver my timbers.
The design is fire as fuck. Yuno compares the feeling he gets from him to the likes of Zagrid, which was the first and only devil he had encountered in the flesh. Yuno chooses to not give up, getting ready to fight again, but Zenon is way ahead of him and traps him in a spatial magic. He then sends an onslaught of bones his way, ready to pierce through him, but Yuno is able to protect himself, or so he thinks. A few hits still land, cutting into Yuno's body, and Zenon begins to explain that his arrow from earlier would have won him the whole fight. If he had hit Langris with that shot as well, he would have been able to aim at Zenon's heart, and this would have made him succeed in his plan, which was to save Yami. Oh wait a second, and William too. I remembered, guys.
Who?
William.
Who?
We can't give up on William.
Who?
This goes to show the significance of their parallels, where Zenon was willing to sacrifice Alan to survive, but Yuno can't do that to his friends or Asta, no matter how hard the odds got, whilst Zenon did and went down a dark path. Zenon proceeds to totally rip into Yuno. He sends Yuno flying, and we then see our boy on the ground bleeding and back to his original form, once again about to have the worst day in his life. Yuno had the worst day of his life when William got kidnapped. Everyone's dead. He's not the protagonist after all.
I am having a very bad day.
Zenon then turns to Langris and says, so you've escaped death, yet you still stand in my way, as he sends his bones to kill Langris too. But then something happens. Zenon's bones hit their targeted area, but Langris isn't there. We then see that he was rescued and moved behind Zenon, and none other than, you know, Finral. Finral says that he isn't there for him, but it's because Zenon is the one who kidnapped their captain. So this is where we take another moment and applaud Finral for his development. Like, this dude used to be the biggest coward in the whole show. He didn't even want to fight someone like Veto, and now he's volunteering to fight a goddamn supreme devil? Wow! Finral then decides to use his Fallen Angel Wing Beat spell directly on Langris, where it instantaneously sends him away from Zenon's attack. The narrator once again comes in and explains that Langris's Mana Zone allows him to use Mana Zone within Zenon's absolute space, and Finral's spatial movement is spontaneous and precise, meaning they can both navigate through and fight inside the impossible battlefield that Zenon has created. In fact, they're the only ones. Finral then says they should fight alongside each other, something they had never done before in their entire life, and it's against a supreme devil of all things. Now let's move on to balls deep prediction magic and everything about the devil Beelzebub. Zenon's devil being Beelzebub should not come by as a surprise to any of you if you have been following the channel closely. Today I will explain who this devil is and what his presence means for the story. Beelzebub has many titles, like the Lord of Flies, as well as the Prince of Devils, since he's Lucifer's right hand man. In some interpretations, he's also known as Baal in the Kabbalah, which we know Tabata took for inspiration for the Tree of Cliff-Off plan that Lucifer is doing. Baal is under Lucifuge Raphael, the devil that was mentioned during Narc's backstory. An important detail about Beelzebub and Zenon relates to one of the many names the demon goes by, Lord of the Flies. Now, you won't guess what this man did with his flying ability. I'm not making this up, but in one story, this dude literally used to fly around eating excrements.
You nasty ass bastard!
His devouring of excrements could be seen as a metaphor for taking the souls of the lowly who succumb to lust and power, who then end up making a deal with Beelzebub, in turn falling from grace just like Beelzebub, who was a commanding general once in heaven before he fell. Zenon, when accepting Beelzebub, he becomes just like the kids who bullied him in the past, a piece of shit. Beelzebub isn't like Liber, he loves human torment and wants to destroy them. Beelzebub is a former seraph. Remember, the seraph in Black Clover are represented through the elves and the Tree of Life. Well, in the story, Beelzebub is a former seraph, but turned into a high-ranking demon who is considered one of the 7 princes of hell and oversees the Order of the Fly. Beelzebub was an angel who was once under the Archangel Gabriel and was revered as a deity named Beelzebub in some interpretation. Beelzebub was said to be Lucifer's order, meaning that he was part of the Morning Star's choir of circle in heaven. He was amongst the angels that Lucifer would converse with. Beelzebub's ability to keep up with Lucifer impressed the latter with his character and placed great trust in him. At some point before the war in heaven, Beelzebub found and consorted with Nama, a sister of Eve, who was created to be one of the potential candidates as Adam's wife after Lilith's departure by the Red Sea. So this again is linked back to Black Clover with Nama and Lilith, as you know. So eventually, when the civil war in heaven was brewing, Lucifer chose Beelzebub as his second in command for the rebel army of angels. Lucifer led the attack on the front line, whilst Beelzebub led the support fire a step away from the front, providing the front enough openings to attack. Eventually, when the civil war in heaven was brewing, Lucifer chose Beelzebub as his second in command for the rebel army of angels. Lucifer led the attack on the front line, whilst Beelzebub led the support. Beelzebub was amongst one of 3 rebel angels cast out of heaven for their transgressions, falling at 9 times the space that measures day and night before finally hitting the abyss. Their collision against the abyss created a chain reaction that terraformed the empty space into the fiery terrain known as hell. Beelzebub was amongst those that was intimately aware of Lucifer's plan for a new world order, and Beelzebub makes sure that all the right pieces are in order and was instructing the demons on what to do to guide the mortals above for the necessary events that will bring about Lucifer's utopia. Now, as we see in Black Clover, we know what Lucifer wants to do. He wants to rule the earth, and he's using all these devils to do so. So it's kind of similar storyline that is going on here. However, Beelzebub's spatial magic also seems to be a reference to the Greek philosopher Zenon, who philosophized about space and time regarding how they correlate, thus creating the infamous Zenon paradoxes. Beelzebub does seem to have a connection to Yuno's powers, as in the Testament of Solomon, which is a composite text ascribed to King Solomon and associated with the Old Testament, which Christians and Jewish groups don't find as canonical, by the way. Anyways, in it, Beelzebub appears as the prince of demons and claims to have been a heavenly angel who was related with the star Hesperus. Hesperus in Greek is the name for Venus. However, in Greek mythology, Hesperus is the half-brother of Asterius, who is the father of Urus, Zephyrus, Boreas, and Notus. Now, you're probably wondering, what the fuck is man saying? What is a deal from Anime Pussy talking about right now? I don't understand how this relates to Black Clover. Alright, give me a minute. Hold up. Story-wise, this may not be that important and could just be enforcing the symbolism in Yuno and Zenon's contrast to each other. I might be talking out my ass right now, but this is why most likely in this fight, Yuno will also unlock spirit spirit of notice to finish his quartet of his wind animoy weapons, which will be in tune with the theme of quartets in Black Clover since the fourth Zagreus sibling was revealed. The duality of both characters reached deep in both their roots, as both are different reflections of each other, where Zenon was being apathetic before meeting Alan, where he then was forced to kill him and awoke his emotions. In contrast, Yuno is shown to be very emotional as growing up and acts in an apathetic manner only after being inspired by Asta, just like Zenon was inspired by Alan. Anyway guys, that's everything I want to say for this week. Make sure to smash that like button, make sure to hit the notification bell for next week's Black Clover video, and I'll see you guys next time.